Hi guys. All right, so we are here today and I'm going to start a spinning video. A lot of you guys have been following that we're doing online videos and classes. Well, this is a start of a spinning one. We're actually going to be adding these classes to our website, but I wanted to do a free one today to kind of help people get started. All right, so I've got my, yes, changing this the wrong way, right way. I have, this is the Kromsky Fantasia, and I'm going to actually reset this wheel up, and I didn't do it beforehand, so that you guys can see how this works. And we've got lots of different languages and words and things like that in spinning. But this is, so what I'm doing here is I'm taking off the flyer. Okay, and this is actually an aftermarket flyer, so I'm replacing it with a regular one. Now, Kromsky Fantasias and a lot of other wheels are set up in what we call Scotch tension. Scotch tension is a really nice basic tension thing. You have a drag line that goes across here. Now, as I showed the other day, we don't set up our Kromsky wheels or any of our wheels. Here, let me turn this around. We don't set these up the way that the manufacturer says. I actually put, this one has the spring base up here, goes down here, around, and through here. Now this makes it more consistent, really a consistent pull and drag on the spring, so you get a better yarn, in my opinion. Now everybody has a different opinion of that, but that's how we have always done it. That's the traditional way. We call it traditional. It's kind of a play on words. All Asher traditionals are set up this way, and most Saxony wheels or Scotch tension wheels are set up this way. Try to put you guys on the floor here so I can see you. Okay, so I've got my flyer off. Hang on. And I've got it ready to go here. For some reason, oh, I see why. All right. Set you guys back here. I'm trying to keep you guys so that you can actually see what I'm doing from my level.
Cameraman?
Yeah, you can. Well, if you just want to put your finger right there, because it's not going to stay. All right.
Wait.
So then,
oh, it wants to fall over.
It wants to fall over because of how the phone is. Okay, so now, when you get your bobbins, they don't have a leader on them, which is what we call the string that goes across. They do have two ends. These ends can be used either way on the Kromsky bobbins. I prefer to use the larger end for beginning spinning because it goes slower. When you think of any type of pulley system, the more difference in the ratios, the difference will be in how it goes. So we're going to put that on here, and I'm going to go ahead and twist this tight. Now with the Kromsky Fantasias, they have a flyer that has these movable hooks. This is also magnetic. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on here, and then I just have to spin and it locks it into place. But now I need whatever called, a string. My words are gone today. This is like the second live video and my words evidently disappeared. So now we're just going to use crochet cotton here, which I have to find scissors. Do we have any scissors left in this store?
3 pairs
miscellaneously
throughout.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't work that way. Yeah.
I want to do it.
Okay, Danielle wants to do this. This is her favorite part. She's really good at it too. I am not good at it.
Here, you should lift them up so you can see
Okay.
close. Okay, so I was taught this by a master spinner. Actually, this is what I learned on my first lesson. So you go through, this is one of the few things. So you go over and you pull it through. So you slip it through, and then you have the 2 strings. And then what you do is you take one side, you separate them out, and you have the loop on the top, and you go under and around and through that loop. And then you do the same on the opposite side. So then you have like this double half hitch thing. I don't know what the technical name of these knots are. So you have the loop goes one way with both strings going through it, and then you have two loops going the opposite way. So when you pull it up and you tighten it and you pull it all together and you tighten it, it doesn't slide. Well, either way when you pull on it. I mean, I have to pull really hard to get that slide, but just normally it doesn't.
Okay.
Then I tie a knot in the end of mine.
Right, because then you have a loop.
Then you have a
To
loop
do all sorts of things
that you
with.
can slip the end of your wool into. So you don't have to worry about your cotton being toothy enough.
Right. I
Okay.
totally forgot roving.
There's some pink right there.
There is pink right here. Okay.
It's really pretty.
So now another thing. Let's turn this way. So Danielle and I were talking about roving prep today, because this is a big thing, and we're going to do a whole video series on this. But I'm just going to touch a little bit of a base of this today. So when you get your commercial roving, this has actually already been split once. You can literally unfold your roving. There's going to be multiple layers of roving. Now, our roving that you might buy from us is a little different. It'll still have these multiple layers though. All right, so then you can pull this apart here.
So
Now, when you get good at this, you can change your color. You can spin this a million different ways. But right now, we're just focusing on making these small, so we don't have to draft it as fast. I'm
as
gonna keep.
big around as your pinky.
Yep, that's as big as you want to go.
See?
Like that. It's about like that. I'm actually going to split this even smaller. And then, if I want to, I can take a piece. This roving isn't very felted. This is nice roving. But I can take a piece like this, split it, and I can pull it apart and pre-draft my roving
Then
to
you don't have
exactly
to-
how I want it.
Then you don't have to worry about that when you're pedaling.
Right, because you're going to be rubbing your head and patting your stomach at the same time, or vice versa, however that saying goes. It's a lot of brain and muscle power.
It's like riding your bike, having conversation, chewing gum, and looking
Yep.
out for traffic all at the same time. It takes time.
And now a lot of people tell you to take your wheel home and you treadle. And you treadle and you treadle and you treadle and you treadle and you treadle. Which is great. Except you know what? Treadling is the easy part of spinning. That is great advice if you are starting on a Saxony wheel and you have a single treadle and you have to keep it going. But most of us now start on a double treadle wheel. And on a double treadle wheel, it's like riding a bike. And it's the same motion as riding a bike. And it goes up and down, up and down. Or walking or doing any of those things. It does not take us very long to figure out how that system works. So what I actually teach people here.
I'm
Huh?
risking.
Risking the thing.
Here's your, show them how to use the hook.
Oh, that's right. I'm not going to cheat. Okay, see. So this is your threading hook or your orifice hook. You're going to go in here. I've gone through both holes here, both of the hooks here. And I'm going to slide this through. And then I'm ready to go.
The yarn's just spinning in circles with nothing around it.
Huh?
I'm trying to wind, guys, in the background, I'm winding yarn
Oh.
for a project while trying to keep the puppies from running
Everybody over.
everybody over. Everybody, as in all of you, on the computer.
Right. Because that makes it more fun, like.
Okay, so I'm not sure if you guys saw, Heather just tightened.
I'm tightening the adjustment here.
Just until the spring stretches just ever so slightly.
Now, and what I tell people to do is I want to actually be able to pull this in and out. It's feeding in, but I can pull it back out. Feeds in, but I can pull it back out. I don't want this wheel yanking the yarn out of my hands. This is a calm, peaceful sport, okay? And you can see all I'm doing is when this wheel is very easy because it's weighted, but all you have to do is start and you go around. Now, how fast should you treadle? You can treadle as fast as you want, except your hands cannot keep up with this. So what we're going to do to start spinning is we're going to count. We're going to go 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. You literally want to go this slow. No faster than this. As I'm holding this too, you guys can hopefully see that there is energy building up. This is no different than using a drop spindle. This is the exact same thing. All you are doing is by going 1 and 2, 1 and 2, is putting twists in your yarn. So now I'm going to grab my pre-drafted roving, and when I'm doing this at home, I have a whole little pile. Now I can lay this over, and I'm going to lay it over by about 3 inches. I'm going to pull it, and I'm going to let this twist go down. And I'm going to go 1 and 2, 1 and 2. And you can see this just feeds in. Now at this speed, my hands can actually draft slightly. But you may not be to that point, and that's okay. You can just let the yarn go in. And once you fill up a bobbin, it's going to make it so much easier, and you're going to have that feeling. So I'm just going 1 and 2, 1 and 2. Let your yarn go in. The biggest thing that people do is they hang on to their yarn and they fight the wheel. This wheel is hardly pulling at all, but if I let it go, it lets the yarn go in. Now, if I have a big lump coming up because I didn't pre-draft very well, I can pinch my forward hand, and you can use either hand to be your forward hand. And I can let this go down. I can draft it out. I've stopped treadling at this point.
Whoops, sorry guys.
And I can go 1, 2, 1 and 2. And then I just let it go back in again.
Can you show them how to draft again?
Yep, so I'm pinching this off. I've stopped treadling. This would be the park and draft spinning wheel method, okay? I'm going to pull this back, and then we're going to let it go in. And that's all you want to do. And I can actually continue to repeat that. I can stop my feet and keep going. Stop my feet. Let my twist go down and keep going. And you can do this as much as you want. This is not a race. What people tend to do is treadle really, really fast because this is the fun part. And then they can't keep up, because if I'm treadling this fast on this wheel,
show them how fast your hands have to go.
I have to go like this. And I can't keep up with it. I mean, I can now, but not as a beginner. And even then, I'm still going to get over twist in my yarn. So instead, we're going to go 1 and 2, 1 and 2, and just let the wheel spin around nice and slow. You don't need to go fast. I know I keep repeating that, but that is the biggest secret to spinning, is keep your feet going slow. Every time I have somebody come in here who's had an issue with art yarn or anything else, it's because their feet are going too fast, because your hands are just not done. Now you can see I've got this little bit built up on my hook here, and I'm going to slide my bobbin hook over so it can continue filling up my bobbin in a consistent way. Now, as you get better at this and you go through the time, you're actually going to start drafting, and you're going to start drafting from a V shape in a perfect world, which is like this. And you can see through it, and you can draft out. Or I can change it up, and I can draft from the fold again into a V shape. And I can spin from the fold, which will give me a different look in the color. And it also will give me a different finish to my yarn, because I'm changing literally how that yarn is made.
Long staples are a lot easier to, like, some silks are much easier
if you
to
spin
from the fold.
Yep. Now, a short staple like this is Falkland. I don't care for spinning from the fold. You will find a lot of people who teach you how to do that with color techniques. I would rather buy yarn that's dyed differently, or fiber that's dyed differently, or split my roving a different way than do that. But that's each personal preference. But again, you just go 1 and 2, and that is all it is. Every time I give a lesson, the person goes, "Oh my gosh, I thought it was so much harder to spin yarn than that." The wheel is doing all the work. All you're doing is controlling how much yarn goes in at a time. Now we're going to start doing lessons here at Pearly Shell. We already do private lessons in the shop, and we also do class lessons. But we are also going to do an online lesson program for this. So I'm going to hook the link up today, and you guys can see, because we will do a 4-week class lesson like this on Facebook Live, but get more in depth than this one did. But this is all it is. Just spin.
Okay, so in joining, is there a trick in joining?
Joining. So all you're doing is you're going to lay it over, and again, I lay it over about 4 inches up, and I treadle a little bit faster for a second, just so that the twist goes down. All wool has little teeth in it, and the barbs of the wool want that wool to stick together.
So it looked like magic just now.
It looks like magic.
It does look like magic. That's what everybody says when they see it in drop spindle too. Mm-hmm. It's just you lay it over and you have to trust the twist.
Yep. Because remember, I'm building up energy. So if I stop letting my yarn go in and I sit here and I treadle and I treadle and I treadle, you'll see it. I'm going to see if I can get it to do it. You see it, and it will start building this twist up. See all that twist?
See how tight and
How
kinky
kinky is? So now I've got all that twist built up. I can actually pull this down and let it go. Let's see how far it will go. There we go. Still going.
All that twist.
All that twist was trapped up there. Because this is just a physics game. All I'm doing is adding the twist as I go around. So when you pull your yarn off, and you join it again, let me join it with a different color because it might be easier to see. Here we go.
So
okay.
She has twist in
have
the yarn
twist
before
already.
her fingers.
Yep, and I've got it pinched off here. And then I'm just going to lay my yarn over, and you can see that twist go down.
And it grabs the new fiber.
Yep, and twist it up.
Let's see that section. See how it just twisted the new fiber around the old fiber? Yep, and now she's onto the green.
Yep, and I'll show it again here. And that's all you're doing is just adding that in.
Okay, so she's going to go back to the pink so you can watch it. She's adding twist.
And then I'll just let it go in.
And then lays it on top, and see,
and
it just twists around, and it locks in because of the teeth on the fibers.
Yep.
And now it's back to pink.
Super easy. Now this wheel is clicking a little bit because of my shoes, but let's talk a little bit about a really important thing on all wheels is oil. This wheel has a lot of ball bearings. Every half an hour before you start spinning and after you start, and every half an hour that you spin, you're going to oil it in all the spots that friction could happen. So you're going to oil it down there. You're going to oil it on the treadles. I'm not going to do that today. All of the spots that friction can happen, you're just going to drop of oil. You'll even see we have actually on this wheel, we have this wheel set up for production spinning. I actually even have a little piece of cardboard back there.
It holds the oil.
It holds the oil on, and you can use a piece of felt. That was one of the biggest hacks I ever got taught on spinning.
Piece of leather.
Mm-hmm. One guy cut just little pieces of felt, like just from a felt
The other thing, every 30 minutes when it's time to oil, to walk around your chair.
Yep, because you will get sore.
Oh, yes.
Especially when you are new to spinning. Let me slow down. You will get really sore really fast.
That wheel's fun to go fast on.
It is.
But.
So again, it's easy, it's fun, it's relaxing. It is not a race. So you just
when she's just going slow and she's drafting, she's really only drafting an inch at a time. An inch-ish.
Yep.
It always seems like you should be going so much faster and so much farther. Really, it's not. It's just an inch or so at a time.
Mm-hmm. Compare it to this way. Your hands can only crawl, but your feet can run. All the time. I mean, we cannot
like
go...
even if we were to get down on our hands and knees.
We cannot go that fast.
We cannot go that fast with our hands and arms.
Right. I mean, you just can't. So you have to accommodate that with your feet and teach your feet to slow down. Drop spindling, that's why I think people think drop spindling is so much easier to learn. I actually think they are the equally challenging. I can teach somebody how to spin on a wheel in 5 minutes. I can teach somebody to drop spindle in 5 minutes. The difference is getting their feet to slow down. It's because it's the exact same thing. You don't have to learn how to draft nearly as quickly on a wheel. Because again, I can literally sit back here and just let this go in. This is a little thick for it, but...
Well, and if you have slubby yarn, you'll be like, well, the twist isn't going
Right.
into the thick part. Well, that's because the twist will only build in the thinnest parts of the yarn.
Right, because it's just like water goes to the parts
Path
with
of
the least resistance. But it's still coming down here into this yarn.
And that's perfectly acceptable yarn. That is yarn.
That's yarn. There's nothing wrong with this. This is actually what... I think this yarn is cooler than what I have on here at first.
The really thin
The really
stuff.
thin stuff.
This is my favorite to do something with.
Mm-hmm.
But as you can see, you'll go, oh my gosh, look at all this. It's all twisty and lumpy.
It's all twisty. So what do you do when it does this? You're at home and you're spinning and spinning and spinning, and then you get these kinkies because maybe you're going too fast because you're watching Criminal Minds and it's really scary, and Reed is going to get killed again, and why is it always him that has to go into the bad houses? Okay, so what I do is I stop.
Okay, do we need some therapy later?
Just a little bit. Okay,
I
well, I
quit
don't
watch-
think it's fair that they
I
always
quit
send him
watching
in.
Criminal Minds because of the anxiety it was inducing.
Right, okay. So all I do here is I twist this up.
It just
I can
manually
correct
twist
this.
it
I'm
on.
manually twisting this on. Here's where my problem land was right here. I don't care about that right now. I'm just twisting it on. Do not take that out and throw that away. There's nothing wrong with that yarn.
There's nothing wrong with
And
any
look
of
at
this
now
yarn.
I have a new section of that. Now if it's not feeding on at all, I can increase my tension. You only want to do this a tiny turn, not a full turn. I'm talking a teeny tiny turn.
We're talking like fractions of turns.
A fraction, like you move it a 1/18 of an inch, 1/16 of an inch. Well, why do they always send Reed into that? I mean, like, they have all these other people who are trained, and then they send, like, the profiler guy in there. It's wrong.
Okay, I'm gonna go turn off the thing that's making my yarn right now.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
it became very anxiety inducing, so I quit. And then the people are pregnant, and then they get divorced, and there's all kinds.
That was, like, years ago.
I haven't watched it in so long. I am so far behind.
Okay.
Ha!
So, one thing that we do, which is brings you to another thing. When you are spinning at home, and you are trying at home, spin 15 minutes a night. That's all you're going to do. Because your muscle memory has to build, and this is all latent learning. You learn how to ride a bike not when you're actually riding the bike. You learn when you are off the bike at home asleep. This is the exact same system. So this is enough spinning for anybody for a day. I like those together. And then you're going to take this and you're going to wait. When you spin at home, spin in front of the TV or listening to a podcast or anything. Just nothing stressful. No Criminal Minds. No Walking Dead. No Game of Thrones spinning. Okay? People, we
Bob
don't...
Ross is on Netflix.
Right. He is very peaceful. And he talks slow.
And he has really cute squirrels, and he shows them.
Right. So that is what you want to spin to. Nothing stressful, because you actually do move faster when you're tense. Everything speeds up. Did you know you automatically went speed up 35% as soon as you get on stage? Like you talk that much faster. It's crazy.
We have to keep that in check when we do our live videos.
Yeah, we're really good at
We get really
going.
fast.
And well, we also get excited, and we live on the West Coast. But that's all you're going to do. 15 minutes a day.
I will say, was it 007? No, Mission Impossible. I don't know what the worst yarn I've ever spun was Mission Impossible
yarn.
Was Mission Impossible yarn, and I cracked it up because it was so overspun.
Have to watch it. Yeah. So you go 15 minutes a day for 30 days, and you will be a spinner. Now, our online classes are going to cover this. They're going to cover drafting. They're going to cover a lot of really complex things to help you on your way. Nothing is complex with spinning. All you're doing is making string. Literally string.
You're twisting fibers together into rope.
Years,
it's easy.
Thousands and thousands of years people have been doing this, including all of your ancestors. We would not be here if it wasn't for spinners. And that's all there is to it. Just easy, easy, easy. And it's a really relaxing, fun hobby that anybody can do.
Okay. Buffy has a question.
Sure.
She said, if you were starting with raw Angora rabbit wool, do you, I can't see it all, do you card the wool first? If so, how do you card? We have a couple videos on carding.
We've got a video on carding Angora. I'll see if I can find that one and bump it up.
I will say, when I first started spinning, I carded the Angora that I had.
Yes. Okay, here's the pro to any carding is you will align your fibers and you will get a more consistent fiber. Now, is that how I spin my Angora? Not typically. I am not a prep person. My brain hurts even thinking about prepping. So I tend to spin from the cloud, which let me grab some Angora. Actually, we have that bag I opened up the other day. Oh, giant, and I was going to spin it anyway.
Are the cards over on the table too?
They're somewhere. Declan put them somewhere. Okay?
Oh, he put them on top of a shelf in the wool room so nobody would hurt themselves.
Very responsible like that.
I know. That's why I bring my kids in, is so they can adult for us some days.
We do not adult well.
No.
Where were they? They were here somewhere. I saw the combs.
I would think that he put the cards with the comb.
Oh, I see them. They're way up high.
Uh-huh, way up high.
Hey, we have no more Carters coming tomorrow.
We have more Carters coming tomorrow?
Yep. Okay. So I'm going to show you how you spin from the cloud. Do those.
And then we'll turn you around and I'll show you how to card it.
So this is just giant Angora from a bunny. And this is basically how it would have been clipped off the rabbit. There's some second cuts in here. You see them, I'll blow them out. Makes it go all over the rug. It makes it really fun.
Great. The vacuum loves this.
Okay. This is
That's a lot of Angora.
This is a lot of Angora.
Here,
So-
I'll take it.
Take that handful. So I just start with a little handful like this. And I fluff it up, make sure it's all fluffy.
And you can do this with any wool, actually.
You can. Angora does lend itself very well because Angora doesn't have any lanolin. Now, a lot of people will say to spin Angora, you need to put a lot of twist in your yarn. I have found that not to be true. I'm going to treadle faster because this is like, now I'm getting to what I spin all the time. Okay. So I'm just going to lay it over again. And I'm going to spin it. And I can literally just go through and start spinning it from the cloud like this. And we have a live class March 2nd on Angoras.
Starting on the 4 Angora breeds.
And then we have a class online on the 4 Angora breeds.
That's right. We're doing an Angora
The
101.
reason for that and that we divided the breeds up is because each one spins a little differently. I find Giant doesn't spin quite as fine as a rule. I'm just going to get crucified. As my English does. It's a little bit different.
That very well could be the guard hair.
It's the guard hair and the diameter. French doesn't spin as fine either. French spins beautifully, but it doesn't spin into a lace yarn like the English does. Neither is good or bad. It just is what it is. So I'm going to go through here. And you can see I'm just literally pulling it out of my hand as I go. Now, if I get a little bump like that, I can actually pick that out.
Because it's a second cut.
Just a little second cut. And I can just keep going and going and going.
Don't worry about your yarn
lumpy. It's okay.
being perfectly... This is the best advice I got. I was so neurotic about my singles being perfectly even. You know, when you ply your singles back together.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, this is a little lumpy here. Let's show them what this is going to look like. So, because you guys can see this has texture.
Wait. Okay, it was a little lumpy. You saw that. Okay, it's twisted together as if it was plied. Look at that. You can't even tell that was lumpy.
Nope. Because you finish off, you really do it. It evens out.
When you ply your singles, that little bit of lumpy texture, it all evens out. You'll never notice.
No.
I mean, unless you have like great big lumps and intentional lumps, like a thick and thin.
Right.
But you know, when you're really trying, it doesn't make a difference.
No, it doesn't. It's really, and also, you know, all yarn is good yarn. And I did the same thing. I threw out singles. Oh my gosh, I threw out entire bobbins full that I spent hours and hours
being
on.
Nitpicky on, trying to make the most perfectly even single.
Yep, and in reality, I just threw out great yarn for no reason.
Right.
It's crazy talk.
Right now, Annette, we are spinning giant Angora. And I'm going to give a little carding demo on Angora here in just a second.
And you can see this is just the raw Angora from the cloud. I will say, if your rabbits get wool mites, which happens to all of us, rabbits get wool mites, wash it, or that's what I use to dye. That is, if it will spin out. People used to say it doesn't spin out. It spins out just fine.
It's really
dusty.
But
it's really dusty and it really hurts your eyes if you have any type of allergy.
It's really hard on your lungs. And, you know, in washing it, you just have to, if you have a over-the-sink fine mesh colander, you can lay it in that, and literally you can just, like, run water over it.
Right.
It doesn't even have to be with soap. You just have to get the dandruff out.
And you can see when we talk about Angora, I always assume that people are using US Angora. And I assume that people are using a longer staple. This staple, here we go, is a good 3-inch staple. You can see that most of the time your middle finger is 3 inches. Don't ask us all the jokes about that. But that's a 3-inch staple. That's a 90-day shear. You do have to be careful. Some people will sell you a short staple, a 2.5-inch staple. They'll sell you an inch staple.
It's 90-day shear. It's a 90-day shear. Not all rabbits grow 3 inches in 90 days.
And they also, not every part of the body will be 3 inches in 90 days. You'll have bellies and stuff that are shorter. Friction causes the wool to be shorter. That's just the way it is. So make sure when I'm talking that you can spin it from the cloud. I would not try this with Chinese Angora or Angora that I bought commercially. I would only try this from somebody that I know.
Faux Angora, which is nylon, is really short too.
Yes, and I have seen some. When the first Angora I ever bought, years before I had Angora rabbits, it was like an inch. It was like cashmere, which we can show. You know, cashmere spins. I spin cashmere very similarly to this, but I can't go ahead and draft it. To spin cashmere or to spin something with a really short staple, you actually spin way down here.
And you let the twist into your pile.
And you have to have more twist. Where this, why do I say Angora doesn't need twist? Because it's a soft twist. You don't want it to be hard. This is plenty of twist. This has hardly any twist in it. Look at how lofty and light and soft that yarn is. That's what you want your Angora to be.
And merino, commercial merino is shorter than 3 inches.
Much shorter.
So you don't have to have a huge amount of twist.
No. Now,
in your Angora.
One of the questions I saw the other day on one of the groups is, what do you do with your yarn after when you stop? Which I had never thought of that as a question, because we do things so automatically we forget. Okay?
Yeah.
So this is what I do. I put a little bit more twist in my yarn because I want that to make sure it holds, and I literally loop it around my front ring. And that will hold it unless the cat gets into it. Or something like that.
And even then, it's not really the end of the world, because once it goes onto your bobbin, that twist is kind of stuck there.
It is. It's on. This is resting yarn, and this yarn is not going to move. It's not going to change anything. All right, so you want to show them carding, and then we'll show a little bit of carded Angora.
Yeah. Okay. So I have my cloud of Angora.
I have no French Angoras available right now. I might at convention, but you've got some great breeders out there. I would recommend check with Eric Stewart. He's in Pennsylvania. There's going to be Angora Nationals out there in Ohio, Springfield, Ohio in May. So there's going to be tons.
That's right. We did Springfield.
Springfield.
Springfield, Reno.
Yeah. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So, I'm blowing out second cuts.
Which that's literally how we get rid of second cuts is we blow them up.
We normally blow it out when we're shearing.
Right.
Then it's not all over the living room floor. Okay, so then with Angora, I just kind of rake it onto the cards. Wool, I don't quite do it that way because it doesn't...
Rake?
No, it doesn't rake. It tends to grab your knuckles. Okay, so then I'm going to lay it down my leg because it's light and lofty. I'm going to grab just the fibers. And I'm going to just do the fibers. And I'm just kind of rocking until I get up to my teeth, which I am not going to drag my cards against each other. They don't like that. That's like grinding teeth. Nails on chalkboards, all awful noises, and shiver-inducing. We talked about this the other day, didn't we, Heather?
Yes, we did.
Do you have the shivers?
No. The nails on the chalkboard is giving me the shivers. Something else we said did.
Grinding of teeth.
Yes. Oh, and then you mentioned squeaky silk, and I freaked out because I hate squeaky silk.
Yeah, squeaky. That was when we talked about our silk classes. So we don't actually drag our teeth against each other. We press them into each other. Okay, so it's slightly more aligned. We had this discussion on our other class.
On our wool class.
We're just going to go with it. It's going to be like our saying from here on out.
3 passes.
3 to 4 passes on everything.
So you know, when you spin, if you're going to wash wool, it's 3 to 4 rinses. If you card, it's 3 to 4.
When you spin a traditional 2-ply, it's
3 times on the bobbin.
3 times on the bobbin. See, it's much more in alignment, but we're not quite there. So I'm going to go one more time. I'm just going in.
Styrofoam does squeak, but nothing is worse than squeaky silk. Shannon Shanks gave me squeaky silk one time, I swear to God, just to watch me shiver. Still in the
grinding of teeth.
Right, yeah.
Grinding of teeth really just sets me off. And yeah. You'll hear us mention him for
randomly.
Yeah, like 2 years I babysat this little boy. His name was Luke. And Luke was a teeth grinder. I don't know how many times I'd tell him to knock. He'd do it when he was sleeping too. It was awful. So now I have it all perfectly aligned. It's beautiful. It's like, it looks just like when it's on the rabbit.
It does.
Doesn't it? It's like, it's a little bunny. If I was going to needle felt, I would totally needle felt. I would card and then needle felt because it realigns all the fibers perfectly. So it's just like when it's on the bunny, then I'm going to take it and I'm going to fold it over. Like all the way over, and I'm going to pet it down. Look, it's like petted down. And then I'm going to roll it off. And I roll it off the teeth. And I keep rolling. And ta-da, I have a roll egg. I had a question on another group. What if my roll egg is too lofty, too full of air? I'm having a hard time spinning it. Tighter roll.
Tighter roll.
And more fiber.
Mm-hmm. You can actually fit a lot of fiber on a carder.
A lot of fiber on a carder.
I think we all tend to do too little on carders at first because it doesn't seem like a lot will fit.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's a lot of fiber. That is a whole handful. So then to spin
from this.
Trade you back.
Mm-hmm. Spin from this. I'm take my fiber off here, and you spin from an end.
Yep.
And you literally, now this will give me a little bit smoother yarn than spinning the way that I had done it before. and I can spin a finer yarn with it. So it just depends on how you want to prep. Like I say, I typically just literally spin from the cloud. But if I was going to enter something in our wool skein garment competition, and I wanted a very
And you really
consistent
wanted
yarn,
to win?
and I wanted it to be the perfect end-all be-all yarn, that's when I pull out my Carter's. But I spin a lot of Angora, so, you know, I'm not typically into that much perfection.
If you wanted to blend it with another fiber, this would be a way to
blend it.
blend it.
Yeah.
Is you would put it on the Carter's and you would layer it with another.
You would sandwich the wool.
And
Or
I
silk or
always
whatever.
lay the wool down first, then the Angora, so the Angora's in the middle. Because Angora kind of likes to fly away.
Really?
Yeah. Likes to be everywhere.
It does.
It really does. Forever.
I think we could get rid of every rabbit in our life and all the Angora and still find it for the next 75 years.
Most likely. How does cashmere blend with wool? Cashmere is a really short fiber. When blending any fibers, it's really important to blend like fibers with like fibers. Like if you were to take cashmere or Angora per se, and you're like, oh, I'm going to soften this wool. I'm going to blend it with Romney or Lincoln because my wool's really scratchy and strong, and you know, you're going to not really soften your wool.
You're degrading your other fiber versus softening your wool.
And you probably won't see a difference in your fiber overall.
You also, when you have short bits, okay, see how these short bits here are coming out? That's what will happen if you have a huge difference. You can probably